Hello. This is another one of the Bhagavad Gita series, and today we're doing verses 47 and 48 of chapter 2. It is certainly right of you to follow your duties in society, but do it without lust of result. You should not perform actions for the sake of some desired result, nor should you seek to avoid action for the sake of some desire. Act according to your true nature, in a balanced state. Give up your attachments to desires of success or fear of failure, Arjuna. Being balanced, taking all things equally. This is yoga. This is being united. So I'm going to start with the end of those two verses where it says, this is yoga. This is being united. So yoga means union. Okay? If you're talking about yoga, you're talking about unitedness. They're the same thing. So, in a mystical sense, yoga is the work of bringing together, of uniting the disparate parts of your being. Both yoga and union are also synonymous with the mystical concept of love. Not love in the sense of, I love somebody else or something like that, but in the sense of love meaning that mystical union with the universe, with reality. So, to obtain that state of love, what is it you have to do? Well, in verse 47, it gives you the first part of the formula, and in verse 48, the second. So, the first part, it says, first, it's certainly right of you to follow your duties in society, and to do it without lust of result. So, there have been historically people who have been spiritual seekers that have sought to separate themselves from the duties of society, right? People that want to go out and be ascetics, or that want to go out and be bohemians and, wander the countryside or live in a forest or on a mountain somewhere as a hermit. And like most of the great teachers, this is not what Krishna advocates, right? I think that asceticism can be a useful practice in the short term, and it's a lousy lifestyle in the long term. Not just because it's not comfortable or something like that, but because it cuts you off from the field in the metaphorical sense. We've been saying that the Bhagavad Gita, which takes place at the eve of a major battle of the Mahabharata war, the Battle of Kurukshetra, we've been saying that this is a literal battle, and that it's very important to keep in mind that he's talking about something that really is going on. But it's also, obviously, a symbolic battle, right? And so the battlefield is the battle for the transformation of consciousness, right? And that battlefield doesn't take place just inside you. It can't possibly happen just inside you. It has to happen through your interactions with the world. This is the operating field. These are the working tools you have, is your body and your world around you and other people and things and work and life and health and love and all these other elements in your life. So you need to be fulfilling your duties, not just out of some kind of a vague sense of moral responsibility, because Krishna was not, in the sense we would normally think of it, at least, a moralist. He wasn't saying that it's only for us to preserve the proper, traditional society that you need to do this. He's saying because if you don't engage with society, if you aren't fulfilling your duty, then you're not in the one place where you have the most opportunities to do this alchemy of self-transformation. Because the alchemy of self-transformation happens through change, and change happens through crisis, through challenge, through occasions that generate change. If you're in a place where you're as placid and calm as possible and nothing is changing around you, then your opportunities for growth are actually very, very small. If you're in a place that's full of activity, if you're in the battlefield, then the opportunity is much greater. But he says to be there without lust of result. That you shouldn't perform actions for a desired result. You shouldn't, nor should you seek to avoid action for the sake of some desire. So he's saying, when you're there, what you have to do is take on the understanding that you're there in order for your self-transformation, not because you should be rich or you should be famous or you want to be respected or you want to have love or you want to have, stuff or family or any of these other things, the things of life, which isn't to say that you reject those things either, right? So no desire, including the desire for awakening, should lead you to pursue some kind of a path that you have in your head that should lead you there, or avoid things that you think will distract you from it. Instead, you need to approach everything that happens in your life from the point of view that you are already engaging with what is necessary from it. You're already getting what you need from it. The result is the action. So you're not doing something in order to get something else later, to get a promotion or to get a higher state of consciousness. The state of consciousness you get from it is what you are doing in it. It's engaging deep in it on that level. It's like if you can imagine that there are two axes, right? That one of them is the horizontal line of what's happening now and what's going to happen later. And if you ignore the second axis, all you're thinking of is that linear path of where am I going, what am I going to get, right? That path of cause and effect. Well, that path of cause and effect is actually karma, and it's a trick. It doesn't generate anything because it means you're never present. You're always going towards the next thing or trying to run away from the thing that just came by, or you're never in the present, right? To get into the present, you have to get to the place where the two lines intersect, and the vertical line is depth, it's consciousness, right? The present is the moment where eternity intersects with time. And that moment, that vertical column, allows you to right here and right now engage with anything at all that's happening in your life with depth, with profundity. And that's the secret, is not to look because you think it's going to lead to something else, but to engage totally with totality. Krishna was all about being total in what you're doing right now. And so to do this, it means if you can't act with lust of result, if you're not acting because you're trying to achieve something or get somewhere, then how do you act? Well, you have to act through your true nature in a balanced state. If you give up your attachments of desire of success or fear of failure, if you take things equally and engage in profundity and depth with where you are and what you're doing, then your natural being starts to come out. And this is what you have to pursue. This is yoga. This is being united. So find the true nature rather than looking for some other thing that you think is going to fix it, right? Be in the here and now. Be in that moment where eternity intersects with time.